Hola.
Hi, I'm just eating my lunch, so I'm on mute
Oh,
and not.
nice. I mean, we'll see. We'll see. These smalls are kind of small. These calls are kind of small. Might just be you and me. I'm just gonna talk to you while you eat your food.
Yeah. No,
Breathe.
Lucy, don't work. Yeah, I just made myself a lunch.
Oh,
I thought
nice.
can you see? I'm gonna
See?
come outside and I'm gonna
Yeah,
eat and I'm gonna,
that's great.
and Lucy's gonna
And Lucy's gonna what?
talk. She's
Talk.
barking at the neighbors.
I was
She's
like, I'm gonna try
crazy.
to come back in this office over here and
It's
get,
super quiet.
yeah,
Wherever you
well,
are, it's super quiet.
almost a lot quieter than it was a little while ago.
Yeah, it's very much quieter. I can hear here they're doing a couple houses down, they're doing construction, and I can hear them sawing. And I'm like, oh gosh.
Yeah, well, and
Anyway.
then he's got his thing that turns back on
Oh, the generator,
the generator, and you're just like,
air compressor.
yep,
Yeah.
yep.
Okay. I hope I'm not the only one, so you get to have
You
more
could be
people.
the only one.
It's 12:01.
I'll just talk and talk
I'll
about, I
listen.
mean, I kind of always have like a little bit, oh my gosh, look at all this stuff in the background. I was like,
Here.
well, it's someone else's office.
Oh, you know what? But it doesn't look like anything. It just looks like,
Well, look at this. We'll
sorry.
go over here.
Oh, it's
You
because
have
I
boxes.
was little. Oh yeah,
Oh, I could
closet.
turn on, hold on,
I don't
I
know
could
how
turn
mine got
on a
fuzzy, but mine's
background.
fuzzy. Yeah,
Yeah, you got a little background. Let's see if I can.
got a little
How do you
fuzzy.
do that? Whiteboard? No. Maybe.
Um,
How do you do this?
I think you do it on, let me see.
What do you do?
Mm,
Tools for sharing.
Show,
I don't know how
record,
you do
start,
this.
chat.
Maybe in more.
More.
Show
Hmm.
captions, transcripts, voice translator
Video and
apps.
effects. Video, because mine is on,
Is it in settings?
mm, it's the three
Oh,
dots.
video and effects.
Yeah, and then you can do
Yes.
your backgrounds. Like,
Appearance.
look, I can do that.
Oh, appearance. Touch up my appearance. No. Adjust for low light, portrait light, auto framing, blur. There we go. That's better.
Now I can't get out of it. Oh my gosh.
Or studio effects. Let's see. Is this better? Let's see. Studio effects. Eyebrows, mustache, beard. What?
What? Okay, but now literally, I'm not even joking you. I can't get out of it. It won't even take me back to more.
Oh, weird.
Okay,
Yeah,
there.
I could literally give myself a beard. That's so weird. Okay. All right. We got another lady on the call. That's fun. These are gonna slowly become more popular. They'll slowly become. Hi, Michelle. I'm not sure which Michelle this is, but
You're recording, right?
I, I turned it on.
Okay, well, not going to eat on
Good
camera.
job. Which Michelle is this? Michelle from where? Is this local Michelle? Is this non-local Michelle? Oh, okay. Well, it is just me today. Chantel is teaching a whole bunch of little 10-year-olds um self-defense, which is actually very fun. Um I'm in a friend's office because I'm house sitting and there's whirly chair and I'm not sure that this was a good idea for me. I usually sit in a stationary chair, but I kind of like this.
That's funny.
I'm like, oh, this is kind of fun. Except for he's like really tall and I don't want to readjust his chair, but my feet are not touching the ground. So, um, okay. Well, first of all, there's two of you on here. And so do either of you have any questions about the app, about movement, about the programming, about the methodology, about a weird pain that you have in your hip, anything. If you guys have any, I was going to say your butt, but then I was like, I don't know. Um, so do you ladies have any questions before I start
I
talking?
don't. I don't.
No? Okay.
Nope.
All right. Michelle, do you have any questions? She does not. Or you could type them too if you can't talk. Um, okay. Well, and if you have any questions along the way, um, so we usually come, these calls are new. Obviously, the app is new, and so we the calls haven't quite caught on yet. So we always have like some sort of a um some sort of a topic that we want to we could talk about that feels helpful. Now there's
You
two
just. I was
Michelles
going to
in
say you just
here.
got a second
We
Michelle.
got another Michelle, either that or it's the same Michelle and her phone's frozen, or computer frozen or whatever. Well, hello there, Michelle. Hi. Are you the same Michelle that was just signed in before too? Okay, cool. You're muted. Do you want to unmute yourself? Or I can unmute you. Here, I'll unmute you. There we go. Ask to unmute. Did that work? There we go.
Okay,
You're unmuted. Hi.
sorry about that.
That's okay.
I don't know. I don't get on Zoom very often, so here I am,
Here you are.
Zooming and learning all at the same time.
Okay, awesome. Where are you from?
Salem.
Salem. So you
Yeah,
know
Shannon.
Shannon. Wait, were you
Yeah.
in the picture with her yesterday that she posted on the app?
Yes,
Awesome.
that's me. So I thought I
Fun.
would jump in today and say hello. Um,
Yeah.
I'm new to the programming, so
Okay.
um, I'm sure I have lots of questions. I don't know all of them, and I have lots of pain in my body and my
Okay.
butt.
And your butt, you do have a pain
So
in your
she
butt.
heard that.
She heard it.
That's
She
awesome.
did
Welcome,
hear you
Michelle.
might have a
Yeah.
pain in your butt. It was the first
Yes.
thing that I was going to say, but then I was like, I don't know,
No, I mean that's what I called it for the longest time.
Yeah,
But it's really the piriformis,
yeah,
I think,
yeah, yeah.
and it's quite the annoying pain.
Yes. So a couple of things, which is great. So anybody that else is listening to this, like later on, that you do have a pain in your butt, and it piriformis issues, it can be a lot of things, but a lot of times what happens is you have your tailbone and then you have the head of your femur, so your big leg bone, and then the piriformis comes across and attaches on the tailbone and the
Mhm.
leg. And so sometimes it can be a lot of different things, whether we had a knee issue, whether we had an ankle injury. Let's say you hurt your ankle, even like 20 years ago when we hurt the ankle to we're not taking normal steps. So then we just kind of do this limping thing. We turn the foot out, and then what ends up happening is that the head of the femur, instead of being here, it sort of rotates so that the foot can turn its way out. And then what ends up happening is the piriformis can get really short. So it can get short, it can get cranky. The sciatic nerve runs underneath it. So if it gets short and cranky, then it might press on the nerve and then it gets cranky. It can also be that maybe we have a knee injury, or we've compensated in some way in our movement pattern. We've lost connection with the psoas. So even getting connection with the psoas, with like the psoas raise, we did a lot of psoas raises in the last block, but you could also just look up the activity. If you go in there, you can find the movement. Psoas raises would be a really great thing, because I'm not saying this is actually what your foot looks like, but the piriformis that's tight, that foot probably kicks out a little bit more than the other one. And it may end up backwards a little bit more than the other one. Not all the time. I'm just taking like a stab in the dark as to
Yeah.
movement patterns. And so the foot may turn out a little bit more. And so more of the doing the psoas will help that foot find its way back. You'll find your big toe a little bit more. You might find more connection to your adductors and your inner thighs. And then ultimately your bigger butt muscles, because we have these we have like a gluteus minimus, which is like a little tiny butt muscle. And then we have our like upper outer butt, which sometimes we can think is our low back. It's glute medius, which can kind of get a little cranky sometimes. But then we have our glute max, which is like our big old butt muscles, right? And so sometimes when the foot also ends up turning out, we sort of get a little bit of disconnection from the butts, or maybe the butt, or maybe you sit down a lot for work and you spend a lot of your time sitting on your butt, and so your butt can just kind of get sleepy. And so when those bigger muscles disconnect, they don't like just forever stop working, but there can be like a lack of connection, a little bit more displacement of where the piriformis is doing work that it's not its job, because it's like really tiny. It's like this little baby muscle. So then if we can get more of the butt on, which is like with what you've been doing, starting the programming of working on, like, did you girls do yesterday's workout with the kettlebell? What did you do the first
Yes.
day of the first? Yeah. So
Yes.
even just working just to your breath on that kettlebell cluster, just going to your breath, just going to your breath on your lunges, you're going to find a much better connection with your big butt cheek muscles. And if there's more connection to the big butt cheeks, there'll be less displacement to the piriformis, and it ends up like kind of yelling and screaming because it's not its job, right? And so usually we can see when we can feel when we're displacing tension in movement. Oftentimes will feel more like it feels like stabby, where you're like, it feels like someone's stabbing me in my butt, or someone's like the only way that I have been able to explain this to a lot of my people is like it feels like when you're doing something where your body is not connected to the muscles that it needs to be connected to, it feels like somebody maybe like holding a lighter to your skin, where it feels like it's like burning. But when we find really good connection with the muscle, it feels like we're sipping on whiskey or like a hot toddy, and it's kind of warm on the inside, and we get like heated from the inside out instead of burning from the outside. So we can use that kind of as an indicator of, it feels like my butt is being lit on fire. I'm probably displacing tension. Maybe I need to not go as far. Maybe I'm not as connected to my breath. Maybe my big toes are off the ground and I'm on the outsides of my feet, and I just didn't even realize that was happening. And then you come back in and all of a sudden you're like, I feel like I have a heater on the inside of my body. So as stuff, and then really getting connected to your glutes and letting that like hot burning um talk to you, or not get to the place where it's talking to you. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah. Does
Yes.
that feel
I
helpful?
noticed yesterday, I was going with my knee all the way to the floor.
Yeah.
And, Shannon talked to me about maybe don't go as far, just go
Mhm.
to your breath. And then
Yeah.
it didn't hurt as much.
Yes. Good. That's awesome. And you might
Mhm.
notice that the side that doesn't feel as good, you may not be able to go as far on that side, and just letting
Mhm.
that be okay for now. Like, okay,
Mhm.
I'm building this connection because I desire to stay out of pain, right? Because pain just
Mhm.
creates more inflammation, more pain, more going outside of your range of motion, and creating like agitation creates inflammation in the whole system, because your whole nervous system is now like, why are we doing this? We're just in pain this whole time. So that's really great. That's awesome that you get to. Do you like train with her, or are you guys just friends that are like working out together?
She trains me.
Okay, awesome. That's
Yeah.
so great.
She's been
That's
great.
awesome. That's
Yeah.
great. Good. Well, hopefully that will kind of help, but use the like, maybe, I don't know, when you can feel it, does it feel like stabby? Does it feel hot? Does it feel just like somebody kicked you in the butt, or that, can you feel the difference of the feeling of like, oh, that hurt and that doesn't?
Yes.
Yes, great. So
Yes.
use that as feedback and as connection to say, oh, this is starting to bother me. I'm probably outside of my range of motion, or I'm disconnected from my breath, or I'm just trying to, sometimes we just like try to get through stuff. Like I just got to get to the end of the workout, and then we're just trying to
Mhm.
gut it out and survive it. But we're not in a survival situation. We're doing fitness. So,
Yeah.
and the
Yeah.
more that you do that, the less you'll probably have a lot of inflammation in your body as well, and less pain in your body.
Yeah. That's really helpful. Thank you.
Yeah, good. Good. Do you have any
Mhm.
other questions?
That's what I can think of.
Not right now. Okay. Did you said you have a lot of pain in your body and your ass, or just
Uh-huh.
all in like like a fibromyalgia pain, or you just have like a lot of inflammation, or you
I'm not sure.
okay.
I don't think it's fibromyalgia, but
Yeah.
it's just a lot. I just have like kind of almost like a left side thing going on. Um,
Okay.
I hear
yeah.
you.
So
You know,
I mean, there's some right side stuff that you could even out a little bit, but
more left side stuff.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But
So
we're working on it
we're
slowly.
working on it. Good. So something that both of you ladies, now Jen is actually a client of mine, so
Mm.
I can, we work together online all the time, multiple times a week. And so, um, for most women, and not always, it's not all the time, it's just a pattern, is a lot of women, we struggle to be kind to ourselves. We struggle to um, believe that we're doing enough, that we are enough, that we're lovable enough, that we're skinny enough, that we're, all the things that we enough ourselves into. And
Mhm.
or or that we put everyone else's needs before our own. And the left side of our body, and this isn't, again, this is like just a pattern, this is different schools of thought. The left side of our body tends to be um more of the more of like our feminine, empathetic, self-compassionate, nurtured side, allowing ourselves to
Mhm.
receive, be taken care of, to be kind to our own selves. So self-compassion and being a friend to ourselves. The more of a friend we can be to ourselves, the more we can allow other people to take care of us. If we do have people around us that do take care of us, but we're like, no, I don't need anybody to take care of me. I can take care of myself. Um,
Yeah.
that part, and even just being more accepting of who we are, accepting of our own struggles, accepting of our own shortcomings, accepting of that we're having a hard time right now, instead of trying to pretend like we aren't having a hard time, but we actually are. And so the more that we can do that, the more that we can sort of tend and befriend ourselves, the more that that side can build up and have more like structural integrity and more connection. And so we can make it only a physical thing, but it's also a mental and emotional thing as well. And so the right side of the body tends to be that part of us that just get stuff done. We take care of business. We move in. We do so. It's almost like you could go like sympathetic, parasympathetic. So where could you play more? Where could you be more creative? Where could you, um, for lack of a better word, like namaste a little bit more and let yourself rest, or, paint or draw or sing or dance or do those more like flowy type creative things. And for a lot of us women, that's like really hard because that feels like maybe it's a waste of time and we're not doing enough. And
Mm.
so that I know that this is my own struggle, and it can feel like in seasons. Like right now the left side of my body is fully like rebelling against myself ultimately because it's me, right? But then I have seasons where I'm like, oh, it's good to go. But then it's also like forcing ourselves into doing things that we may be like abandoning ourselves in the process, whether it's our heart, whether it's our mind, whether it's our emotions. So that might be helpful as well, of just like finding some things that you really love to do that don't produce anything.
That makes a lot of sense and really resonates what you're saying.
Yeah. Yeah. Good. Good.
Thanks.
Cool. And so that will be helpful to like just kind of like decrease inflammation, but also really staying connected to your breath will also help with the inflammation also. So or
I
just
was going to say
getting you
breathing
fired up.
too, Lou.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Game changer. Do
yeah.
you know what would be really great, Michelle? I don't know if you've seen it in the app yet, but in the vault, in the resource section, there are a couple of breath journeys.
Okay.
And it's like an hour and a half, like 2 hour, very incredible experience. It's all explained there. I would do the self-compassion one.
Okay. I will try that.
Yeah.
You
So
should,
give
Michelle.
yourself some time and space to
Yeah,
do it. But
I've done a few. I haven't done that one with Lou, but I've done a few. And literally, the best word I can say to you is like euphoria. When you're done, you just are like on a cloud and you walk away feeling like I can rest.
Mm.
Like, I don't know how to say it any other way. Like,
Mhm.
I can rest and I don't have to feel bad about it. And my body feels amazing. My mind feels amazing. There's no clutter there. Your body isn't, your mind isn't chattering at you. Um, I hope you get that same experience, but I've done more than one, and I've done short ones. I've done long ones, and oh my gosh, like you just sleep like a baby. You're
So
just
it's
so
in the
grateful.
vault, right?
It's
Mm-hmm.
in the vault. Yeah.
Okay.
So if you go in to the vault and then you go into resources, I don't know if you've
Okay.
explored it where there's
I
like,
have.
yeah, there's, the
Yeah.
song playlists and there's books and supplements and all that kind of stuff. There
Hmm.
is one that's just for breath journeys. So
Okay.
there's two complimentary ones in there. So there's another one, then there's another one on food, fitness, and failure. So just like our relationship with our body and food and all that kind of stuff. So either
Okay.
one of those would probably be great for you. So
Okay. I'll
yeah,
check it out. Thank
yeah,
you.
yeah. Jen, do you have any questions while like did anything come up question wise?
No, I was just thinking about the butt question, the performance situation, and just how in myself it's taken time, obviously, to figure out, where that place is. Like when I'm doing a squat or a
Mhm.
whatever, and how to really engage. But what I will say is that I don't have a question, but how do we keep reminding ourselves? Because
Mhm.
as you're working out, to your point, sometimes you're like, oh, we're just going to get this done. And
Mhm.
then you're going so fast, and that's not really
Mhm.
the intent.
Yeah. And there's the time to go fast, but when the time it's almost like realizing like is the time to go fast, is the reality to go fast, or is the reality to connect, right? And still going fast can still be connection if that is the intention around it, right? But using where, just like I said to Michelle, for you, like let's say today, so the workout that we have scheduled for you to do later today, where you're like, I really want to do some burpees, and it was like, okay, yeah. And so realizing like as you start to do your burpees, if all of a sudden your hip where it bothers you starts screaming, you know that either you're just trying to get this done, because I can still go fast, I can still make this challenging, I can still make this difficult and stay connected. The problem is in the disconnection, because we think, oh, I just need to go fast. I mean, sorry, I just need to go really slow to get connected. But sometimes the slow leaves me in my head overthinking anyways, and I'm still not in my body because the
Yeah.
goal isn't to think, it's to feel. So if your intention is, man, I want to feel the intensity of my burpees, you're probably going to find a level of not as much pain or agitation if you're staying connected with the intention that you're doing, right? But if it
Yeah.
is like, I just need to get this done really fast, yeah, you're probably going to find, I mean, you're not always going to find discomfort, but if you have some discomfort, you're probably going to find it, right? And so it's not necessarily like, hey, I should slow down to make sure that this doesn't happen, but it is, how do I engage with the intention that I've set out for in this and stay connected while I'm doing it fast? Because also, the answer isn't just slow down, because in the slowing down, if you slow down in something that's not necessarily the goal. The goal is connection, but we think if I slow down, I'll get more connection. But that's
Hmm.
also not true, in that you can slow down and still be blowing up your back while you're doing something because you're just overthinking and putting the exercise up on the shelf as a trophy that you have to just be really good at, instead of how am I going to stay in my body while I'm doing my burpees? But also realizing, okay, what's happening with my hip in the range of motion as I put my hands on the floor? And, is my hamstring on enough and my glute on enough in order to be doing my burpees quickly?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
No,
Cool.
I don't have any other questions.
Okay, great. Well, then I'm just gonna talk about something really quickly.
Do it.
Do it to it. So in fitness, in food, in our life, right? So when we talk about fitness, when we talk about food, when we talk about failure, when we talk about our finances, when we talk about our family, when we talk about what other F's can I think of? I don't know. But when we're engaging these things, we have to realize, especially as we're like starting something new, right? It can feel really exciting to start something new. Like, okay, I just started the app, or I'm like starting a new, whether I'm starting some new, I'm not going to eat dairy or gluten for the next little while. And so at the start, it feels really exciting because it feels new. But what ends up happening is that oftentimes we bring in old behaviors, we bring in old patterns, we bring in old belief systems, we bring in old stuck emotions, we bring in old obstacles, that we start something new and then we end up doing the same thing that we have always done. And then we kind of go back into the same old patterns where you stop the workout program, you stop the food thing, you stop doing the thing, or whether you're like in, a relationship and all of a sudden you end up in your same patterns. What ends up happening is that we have these very familiar, it's like a familiar road that we take, and at the beginning it feels fun. It might feel new and exciting, but then it turns, if it's the same familiar road that we've always done, and we end up frustrated normally, right? Because we end up doing the same thing over and over again, which is where there's like the beauty of finding an intensity and connection to your breath, and also the beauty and the power of the breath journeys, is that we can start to lay down new pathways in our brain that are different than what we've normally done. And so we end up taking this other route, this other road that is foreign, but it also might feel a little bit fearful because it's new. It's might not feel secure and safe because it's a different road, or it feels harder, or it feels more complex, because it's not familiar, right? If I say to you, Michelle, you go to the gym a regular route every day, or, multiple times a day. If I say, okay, right now, I want you to take a different route where you take almost none of the same roads. You can take one or two roads if you have to get out. And now I want you to take a different route to get there, and you can't take the same way. You're going to have to stop. You're going to have to think about it. You're going to have to reroute. You're going to have to do something different, right? You might even have to, for me, I'm a little bit directionally challenged. I might have to like turn on Google Maps so I can find a different route. But it takes more of my attention. It takes more of my thoughts. It takes some planning. And eventually, the more you take that route, the faster that it becomes, but you're still going to have to think about it, right? And so it's a new road that feels different. And oftentimes us doing something different, we have to believe something different. We have to do something that we don't normally do. And we might have to change our perspective. We might have to change our perception. We might need to do the self-compassion breath journey 3 or 4 times because of what the breath journey does is it just sort of shuts off the part of our brain that likes to argue, that's logical, that's rational, that is like getting in our way often with with things that we just need other parts of our brain to be able to talk, and the unconscious part of us and the subconscious part of us to be able to have a voice to say, actually, this is really what I'm afraid of. And I need to engage it. I want to feel it so that I can unstick these emotions, that I can unstick these old patterns. But what ends up happening is the more that I take this new road that feels foreign and maybe a little bit fearful, right? It doesn't offer me a lot of safety. I have to change my perception. I have to change my belief systems about things, which you can do with more high intensity movements. Of some of you may have experienced like doing such a hard workout that you're like out of your mind. And then all of a sudden you like feel like a different person because you did something different, and the sky looks more blue and the trees look more green. And so we can do that being connected to our breath. We can do it with intensity. We can do it while doing a breath journey where we just repattern, but we have to learn and practice repetition over and over and over, which is where it's so great in the app how you're like, I can check in, I can check, 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 I can finish, I can go, oh, I won. Here's what I did. I lifted 56 foxes today. And we create this motor pattern, this new road that can feel foreign. It can feel fearful. There's a lot of women we've checked in with like, hey, what kept you from staying on the app? Well, it was just too confusing to use. I'm like, okay, that's totally valid, but also have you given yourself room and space to actually learn something new? And oftentimes, especially if we lack self-compassion and we should ourselves into things and we don't think that we're enough, what ends up happening is that there is no room for us to learn. So there's no room for me to take time to get onto an app that might teach me to do something new, but I don't have time to do that. And so when we can bring in this idea of, okay, there's enough self-compassion for me here to realize that I am going to struggle. This is going to be challenging, but also I get to learn to do something different. I then begin to repattern my mind. And then the really cool thing about your brain and neuroplasticity is, okay, I've been taking this foreign and fearful road for a while. I've been on this route and it's becoming more automatic. It doesn't feel so foreign. I'm starting to learn the route. It doesn't feel so scary because I'm gaining more and more courage until there's certain things that I'm doing that like, well, I just feel brave because I'm not even afraid to do it anymore. Then what happens is your brain says, hey, P.S. y'all, we're trying to optimize energy. We're trying to optimize how we get stuff done. She doesn't need this old, familiar, and frustrating route that she used to always do. And then she'd end up quitting on herself in 3 weeks. We don't need this route anymore. And so it just cuts it off, prunes it, and you don't need it anymore. And your body doesn't need to take that route anymore because it's trying to be more efficient. And so it takes repetition, 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 repetition in order for us to learn to do something different, even when it does feel scary, even when it doesn't make sense, even when we're learning to stay connected to our breath and it feels like my range of motion is like really small, but I'm also staying out of pain. So that's incredible. So then your system is less hypervigilant. It less feels like it's in survival mode, and you're starting to go like, wow, I'm actually feeling better. I'm sleeping better. I feel less inflamed. I want less crappy food. My digestion feels better. Oh my gosh, my sex life is totally improving because I can be present and I'm not wandering somewhere else in my mind during this time, right? So it really affects like every area of our life. And so the movement and the way in which we teach inside of Lüsha Method is so that it affects like every area. And so being able to see this and go, oh, this is a familiar road. How do I do something? I want to do something different, but I also have to choose to do something different. And so, being able to use the breath journeys to be able to unstick old patterns, that can be like very helpful. Finding moments of like intensity. So like at the end of a session, when there's like a sprint session, like get on the bike and go because you get to, do this. So you're welcome, Jen. Um, so being able to like engage that route and that road is helpful, but knowing that we also need repetition in that. So I just wanted to encourage you in that it's not bad that it feels hard if you're struggling. And Michelle, I'm not just talking to you. I'm like talking to all the people that are going to listen to this later. But where it does feel like I don't know how to get into a new I don't know how to get into a new routine and do something different and new, but I'm seeing that I'm repeating the same patterns. I have the same obstacles and I'm getting stuck in the same emotional spaces. And so knowing there's a way out of here, but I have to choose to have a different perspective about this, but also intensity and breath and connection are such helpful tools in order to retrain the brain to gain more clarity, more understanding, um, and to find more clarity. So, um, yeah, that is all that I wanted to talk about today. So that's it. So Michelle, unless you have any other questions, we could
I
just
don't.
you just ask away, girl. It's just you and me.
I know. I feel like this was meant for me today. So
Awesome.
I'm really glad I joined. I
Awesome.
it's brave thing for me to do.
Yeah. Good job. Just to come on the call, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, you
So
should be really proud of yourself.
thanks. It was meant for me and I appreciate that.
Oh, good. So now you just get to get on your phone and you get to text Shannon and be like, Shannon, I did something that scared me today. I won. And here is my takeaway from today.
I'll do that.
Yeah. She'll be stoked for you. She'll get to celebrate with you.
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
we
I
are
will.
so glad that you're on the app with us.
And I'm looking forward to doing the workout this afternoon.
Awesome. All right. Well, it was so nice to meet you.
Yeah, nice to meet you too.
Okay. Bye-bye.
All right, bye. Have a good one.
You too.
Thanks.